Hello everyone and welcome back to Short Circuits. So I want to go ahead and give you guys a heads up that this is all going to be post commentary. The reason why is because shortly after my last video where I soldered together the disk read write for the Amiga, I came down with a side effect called metal fume fever because I did not properly ventilate my area and I ended up inhaling all the fumes. I am at this time still recovering from that, but this video may be a bit disjointed because much of what you see and hear will be recorded at separate times, and I'm not so great at post commentary. So we're going to go ahead and do this the best I can with what I got, and hopefully it all comes out okay. What you're looking at here is what I had for my PS2 keyboard. Basically, the PS2 was able to plug directly into the Arduino without the use of the breadboard. All the data pins in and out and the power supply were all perfectly aligned, so I was able to skip out the breadboard and make it a little bit better. So in order to construct the rest of the connector to the Amiga, I needed a RJT adapter, which is basically a handset adapter, which goes from the base of a telephone to the main body of the telephone. I was able to collect this particular item from my local thrift shop, and inside of it, it has two of the RJ10 connectors I need, so I kind of have a backup if I need it. It's an old phone, doesn't really, well, I don't even know if it works. Could, possibly, but the main purpose is I needed it for parts, and it has what I need, as I couldn't find any RJ10 connectors online that I could buy. Now, I could use the cable and just cut the cable if I wanted to, but I felt like I want to do something more with this than just slice a cable up and solder it together. I want to have some flexibility, so I really want to use this connector if I can. Now I am attempting to take the connector out of the handset rather than the base, as I figured it'd be easier to split the handset in two than it would be to pull the base apart. Unfortunately, the handset was giving me a little bit of trouble until I figured out that I was missing a couple of screws that were hidden underneath the telephone number card that allows you to write your phone number down. And once the screws are out, it came apart rather easily. I think I broke a couple pieces of the plastic off, but as the phone's no longer going to be functioning, apart from parts, there's not much else I'm going to be needing this for. And there's the part I need. Now this is my initial setup as I didn't have a capture card available, so as you can see here I have my sketch up, which was handwritten specifically for this purpose to convert via a lookup table from what the PS2 keyboard outputs and what the Amiga requires as an input. From this point on, there's really not that much to show. Everything I did was basically coding. Two errors that I found in my code. One was I had my bits flipped. The up-down keys were backwards, so whenever I pressed down on a key, it thought I was pressing up and vice versa. The only way to know this was the fact that I had a massive repeating key issue where keys would repeat continuously. But when I used the keyboard inputs to simulate a mouse, it seemed odd, but it worked well enough to where I never even realized this was a problem. Once I was able to flip my bits to the correct ones, 1 and 0 respectively, I was able to get the key repeating to literally just stop. After that, everything kind of ran perfectly fine. I had a couple of keys in the wrong place with my my lookup table, and I'm still not certain my lookup table is 100% because the keyboard I was using turns out is I either am missing a lookup table input, or, and I believe I tested this, one of the keys just isn't working. So I wrote the input table to match the key, or at least what it's supposed to be, and I'm hoping that will come out on the Amiga okay. But as you can see from the video here, I was able to get the keyboard working well enough. There are still some repeating key issues. That comes from a timing issue that I was able to adjust slightly, but I can't get 100% in order to make it work without at least a little bit of key repeating. But I think that for a homebrew project that I took from the internet and kind of hammered together as best I could using what little tools I had and little knowledge I had, I'm very proud of where it's come to. Now there are a few other projects, pieces, and things I'd like to do with my Amiga 1000, a couple of things I'd like to get working on it, but those will have to wait for future episodes, as well as more space. So until that time, I'm just going to be very happy that I have my Amiga here, and then hope that I can do what I want to do with it and make it as good a computer as it may have been once in the past, or in the future. So once again, I would like to thank you all very much for joining me, 4KB Short, on this episode of Short Circuits, short though it may be, and I will hopefully see you guys next video.